Okay, so we're going to look at some things that the questions could be a little confusing for you that are on the final. So we're going to look at some things that are going to help with that. And make sure you add everything that I write into your notes. Also, if there's anything that I'm saying that you want to write down as a side note, add that as well. So if you have something like this, you have an algebraic expression, there's no equal sign, so you're not going to solve it. And it asks you in, multiple choice, a couple of things, and I'm just going to list a couple of them. Now, this is not on the test, but there are things like it, just so we're clear, okay? It might represent equivalent expressions in a lot of different ways, okay? One of it could be that it has factored out some number. And your job is to check every single one of these. So you're going to do whatever multiplication you see and see if you get back to that. It might also look something like this, where again, you need to redistribute here and then see if you get back to the original here. If you don't, obviously that's not it. Now, if there's a select all, you need to choose all of the ones that are equivalent. So you got to just redistribute or do whatever needs to be done to get it back to here, okay? You might have a long expression, and then you need to pick all of the ones or just one of the ones that is also equivalent here. So if we combine all these like terms, we're going to get 9x plus 27. There's more ways to represent that, just like up here. So you could, it could be written like this. Also equals this. Or maybe they factor out the 9, since both of these are factors, and it's written like that. So all of these are possible options, and you need to, again, you need to be checking every single one of them and pay attention to if it says select all or which one or which of these. That would be only one answer. Okay, you're going to have to distribute some fractions. We've done this many times. So we could do a lot of things here, right? We could multiply this by the reciprocal, get rid of the fraction, but you'd have to do it to this term also, okay? We could just distribute this. They're pretty friendly numbers. So we would get negative 40/5, which is negative 8, and then negative 20/5, which is negative, what did I say? 20/5 would be 4x. You distribute that, negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4. And then bring down the 7, combine like terms, and you get negative 4x minus 1. So knowing how to rewrite this by distributing the fraction or multiplying by the reciprocal, you have to do it here and here. Okay, so those are those. Let's see what else. Remember that there are formulas for finding the area of different shapes or things like that. You need to recognize that, first of all, this is 1/4 times this quantity in here times h. So that would be the same as x squared minus y squared times h, and then that part would be divided by 4, right? This part, this is 1/4 of this, and then times h. So it's just this part divided by 4 and then times h. You're not going to need to use exponents or, but I'm just using those as an example. Again, we're not solving for the variables. First of all, there's too many. We wouldn't be able to. And second of all, we're not solving with exponents yet, okay? Another way that you might see this, if you think about this, this is this expression times h. So we would need to distribute that, right? So you might see x squared h, not on the test, but you see them just written together, minus y squared h, and then, you would have to divide by 4. So then all of that would be divided by 4. Okay. In this case, it means that it is x squared h divided by 4. You guys can't really see that. Let me move it down. Minus y squared h divided by 4. I know this is a lot, but if you just think about these are exponents and what's happening to them, look at all the different ways that you can write it. Okay? All right, a couple more things. You get a percentage problem, like 20% off, right? That means you're paying the whole price, the original price, minus the 20% of the price, right? So that could look like this. So you take the whole, you're taking the whole price minus 20% of it, and that's what you pay, right? It could also be, actually I want to leave that. It could also be, if you think about it, if you're taking 20% off, you're really only paying 80% of it, right? So it could also be just 80% of the original price. So just thinking about the different ways that you can show that there. Then, when we have something like this, and we're solving, there's an equal sign. There's a couple first steps, and a lot of people would want to distribute first, and that's fine, you can do that. But since it's just multiplication times this expression in parentheses that has the variable, we could also divide both sides by -6 first, and then that frees up our variable. We would get 0, which is, it's okay. Actually, we wouldn't. What am I talking about? We're not subtracting, my bad. We would get -1, and then you would subtract 3 on both sides, and x would equal -4. But just remember that you can also do this first, okay? You can distribute the -6, or you can just divide by the -6, since there's no addition or subtraction after this part here. Okay, a couple more. When you have something like this, and I know you have many examples in your notebook, this one actually came off of the poster in the classroom. Let me move it back up. If we are solving and we have fractions, okay, we have more than one in our equation, and they have different denominators. We want to multiply everything by the LCM. Remember, that's what we learned, to get rid of all of them at once. LCM here would be 12. So we're multiplying everything times 12 and then simplifying. Okay, I'm not going to finish working that out. You should do that, see what you get. You should get m equals 36, so you can see if you're doing it correctly. Okay? And the last thing you need to know are the solution types. Last thing, as far as what hasn't already been covered in the videos and things, I just wanted to give you a little bit of extra clarification. But you need to know the solution types. Remember, if it's exactly the same on both sides, it's infinitely many solutions. If you get x equals any number, even 0, you get an actual number that x equals, then that means it's one solution. But if you get down to something like this, 3 equals 5, it's no solution. There's nothing that will make that equation true, because it will never balance if you get one number equaling another. So we have infinitely many, one solution, no solutions. So make sure you understand those. And guys, anything that you have gone through in the videos by rewatching them, anything in your notes already, if you skim through your notes, anything that you feel uncomfortable with what we just did here, go into quizzes, type the header, like solving equations with fractions, something like that. Then, and do the practice. You can access any of those as practice. It'll tell you right away if you're getting them right or wrong. You should be able to see the answers at the end to learn from mistakes. So use this time over the next several days, even over the weekend, to make sure you practice. Because the more practice you do, the more prepared you're going to be, and you won't run out of time on any of the questions. You'll make sure you answer all of them, and you have enough time to answer them so that your score truly does show what you know, not just what you were able to complete. Because if you have a hard time completing 20 questions in 60 minutes, that's a problem, okay? It's proving that you are not quite ready to be in an algebra class next year. So let's make sure that, or even, keeping up with the 8th grade pace in the beginning can be kind of difficult, like the regular Math 8. So just do some practice and add whatever you want to your notes. And remember, next year, no notes on finals. So we got to change our pace and our, how our study habits are. Okay? Happy practicing.